I just wanted to come on. I just listened to my previous video that I made, and it ended by saying that, if you're living with someone that's addicted, you've got to ask them to leave and kick them out, and you can do it. And it just brought back memories to me of when people that were in my situation and did understand it and were living with addicts would tell me the same thing. And I just remember thinking, it's like a wall. Like, no, there's no way. You don't know me. You don't know this person. You don't know our relationship. We're going to work it out. We can do it. And it was kind of like when anybody ever brought that up to me, there was no way I was even considering it, And even now, I'm thanking Jesus, thank you, God, for giving me the strength and letting it all happen. Because I really believe if I didn't do what I did, ask him to leave, that he really would be dead now. And I'm just so thankful. But, what I really wanted to talk about today wasn't just that. It was, the next step. Being someone who's not an addict, when he got out of his 30-day inpatient rehab that, it's over. He's done. He's clean. He'll never do it again. He learned his lesson. But, after being a month into it now, I realize that that's totally not how it works. That's totally not the case. That this will never go away. It's something that he's going to have to deal with his whole life. Now, when I met him 10 years ago, he told me that he was an addict. He wasn't using at the time, and because I didn't know anything about it, I thought, oh, that's in his past, it's over. And, he had needle marks, and he would always say, even today, I don't need any tattoos. I have my tattoos from life. And, I talked to people, a woman just last week. She had a friend, was clean for 12 years. 12 years clean. He went back and he ended up at his parents' house crying on their porch, begging for help. And it just is unfathomable to me. 12 years clean, and it still calls people back. And, it's not as simple as getting out of rehab and you're done. But basically how it went for me, I picked them up for rehab. I remember one of the first thing I did was look at his eyes, because I didn't really know what they were supposed to look like, because they never really looked normal. And, he joked about it, and he knows the truth. He knows how it is. He's like, yeah, you're looking at my eyes. He's like, this is what they should really look like. And he made a joke with the counselor there, like, yeah, she doesn't really know what my eyes look like. And he looked a lot different. He had big pupils, before when he was using, he always looked like, I would call them snake eyes. It looked like he had no pupil in his eyes. He has the most beautiful eyes too, really light blue, bright, But I remember, he was still a little depressed and struggling. You can just see in their faces how they're struggling and that they're not really happy. And, I figured we'd get over it. So he went to his intensive now outpatient. So he's living at home and he's working the program. He goes every day. The relapse rate is over 85%. And it was recommended to him that originally that he get a Vivitrol shot, which lasts 30 days. It'll block the opioid receptors in his brain. And he can't get high and he can't use. So that was his plan. He went to the outpatient. They did an evaluation, and, they told him that really he's not a good candidate for that. He's been using too long and too much, and the relapse rate is a lot higher, and, they wanted to put him on methadone. So that's where we are right now. When I heard the word methadone, I freaked out, because it has such a bad stigma, and because really I was and still am uneducated about it. I really have to learn a lot more. But, when I read studies on it, it's the most effective treatment since the 50s, and the mortality rate is 60% higher for people who don't do a methadone maintenance treatment. And, basically, we're at the point where I say we because I really love this person. I feel like I'm in it with him. But, we're following the program and we're listening to the experts and the doctors. And this all came up because when he first started the methadone, I was driving with him in the car and he was nodding out, and he looked at me and then he said, what's the matter? And I said, I was so sad. I said, you seem so clear and great. I said, now it just seems like they drugged you all up again. You can't keep your eyes open. And, he assured me that they told him this would happen. It's a very normal reaction when you're starting it until you get your correct dose. And he went on to explain that methadone actually helps your brain heal and makes it better for the counselors to work with you. It prevents relapses. It blocks the opioids. It prevents withdrawals. But it does have such a bad stigma to it. I was totally against it, still kind of am. I just don't understand why. He was totally clear and clean, nothing in his system. They give him the methadone, he seems doped up. And now they're increasing his doses. So what I totally don't get is why would they increase the dose when he's already can't keep his eyes open? And he's tried to explain it to me over and over again. I was actually trying to Google an online doctor that's available to ask these questions. On the internet, they'll answer your questions online. I really couldn't find anybody. I need to look more, but that's what I'm struggling with now is seeing this person that I love still looking like he's high, even though I know he's not. And, it's hard because the first week or so, I was excited to go home and talk to him and be with them and spend time together, but it was like that really wasn't happening because he just so tired all the time. And, even the last 2 nights, he was in the middle of a sentence and he just starts slurring. His words fade away and he falls asleep in the middle of a sentence. And, I'm scared because I don't want him to be like that. And he doesn't want to be like that. And it causes problems. I know it's a respiratory depressant, and you do still have to be careful of an overdose, even though it's monitored and you're getting it from a doctor. So, when he would nod out or fall asleep, I would look at him just to make sure he's breathing, and then he always seems to wake up when I'm looking at him, and then he gets mad. What the hell are you staring at? Why are you always staring at me? Really, he knows. I told him I'm worried that you're going to stop breathing. I'm just looking at you to make sure you're okay. And it's become a tension where I'm worried about him, and he knows that, and I express that to him, but he doesn't get angry, but he gets upset, like he's following the program. What do you want me to do? And I do understand that. He put it to me perfectly. We tried it our own way, and it didn't work. Now we've got to follow the program. So, methadone does have a bad stigma. I hope that eventually when he reaches his correct dose, they say when you reach your correct dose, you function normally. And, reading a lot about it. Some people are on it for a year, which is minimum. Some people 10 years, some people forever. So I don't know where this is going to take us or how it's going to end up. But even with him nodding out, falling asleep on the methadone, life is 100% better because we live near Philly, and he would go to Philly to get his heroin, and our area was declared a disaster area health crisis because there's now fentanyl in the heroin, and it's much more powerful, and people are dying. So even though he is maybe still tired, nodding out or whatnot, I feel a lot better knowing that it's controlled. He's under a doctor's care. He's not going to die in the house. All these different things, and things are just a lot better now. I don't have to worry about missing money, being out all hours in the night, not knowing where he is, not doing stupid things to get money, which I don't even know half the stories, but I know he's done some pretty crazy things to get money. and that's how it is. And, he's happy that he made the change, and life is a lot better. And, he's not nodding out, sleeping all the time. It basically seems like if he's up moving around, he's fine, but when he sits down, he falls out, So, it's just a constant struggle. And for the longest time, especially living with him when he was addicted, you feel so alone because you don't talk to anybody about it because you're embarrassed, and because you kind of know what they're going to say. They're going to say, kick him out, get rid of him, he's a loser, what are you doing? And like I said, I had a wall up there. There was no way I was going to kick him out, and I know he's not a loser, so I just really didn't listen to people. But now I feel like, there's really nothing for me to be embarrassed about, because, it is a huge problem in society. Not that I could, as of one person, could do that much, but I want to break the stigma about it. I want to talk to people about it. I want people to know that, if they're struggling, they're not alone, and it's a common problem, and there's nothing to be embarrassed about. And the fact that I'm with him, especially old school, my parents, I'm 48, people my age, even me, up till not that long ago, you think of an addict as like a junkie loser. But the truth is, a lot of addicts are really good, sensitive, caring, good-hearted people. And they just fell into this, and it kind of took over their life. But they're not all loser junkies, and about methadone. The people that are going to the methadone clinics, I can't speak for everybody, of course, but I know our situation. He's not going to get high just because he can't afford it. He's going to get methadone. That's not the case. He's generally trying to put his life together. And, hopefully he'll be able to do that. Kid Rock had a song, I'm sure everybody's heard it. It says, all my heroes in the methadone clinics. I never understood that. I would always question, why would he put that in his song? That's crazy. How could they be heroes? But now I see it in a totally different light, having to deal with it, They're heroes because they're fighting every goddamn day to stay sober. And I always talk about a diet. When you're on a diet, it's depressing thinking that you can't eat a donut for a day, a week, a year. Now these people have to go their whole lives, And it's scary and it's hard. And they are heroes for overcoming such a huge problem and trying to make a change. And, I know people who were on methadone, and I always thought, like I just said, according to what the stereotype stigma is, she's a loser, why is she doing that? She just wants to stay high, she's weak, she can't get off it. Now, see, when you walk in someone's shoes, not that I am the addict like her, but I am with someone that's like that, you see it totally differently. And, if you're living with someone like this, don't be embarrassed. And I think it shows a lot for somebody to see somebody through this problem and not give up on them and not kick them to the curb. Of course I kicked him out, but I never gave up on him. I still maintained contact. He still came and visited. We still love each other, and in the end, he's back. And the only reason that I even gave it a chance and that I thought it could work and that I'm even speaking on it now is because I know a lot of really, really wonderful, prominent people, great jobs, high positions, with family members who are addicts. And I'll never forget, one lady that I know, very prominent position, respected woman, opened up to me about her daughter, and I was in shock. I couldn't believe that she was living the same life as me, and the fact that she talked to me about it, it gave me courage then to speak to others and to realize that there is no reason to be embarrassed because you love this person. And they are still people. I think people, look at them as not people. They are people, and they need help. And they have emotions, and they want love, and they want to give love just like everybody. And I'm a Christian. I feel like, the main reason I got through it, honestly, was because of my faith. Sorry, I'm lost. I'm driving and I'm lost. I hate driving. I always get lost. I don't have a GPS. I'm using a damn map. And it's like nighttime. I can't even make a right onto Sunnytown. Okay, I'm going the right way. But anyway, like I said, don't be embarrassed. And there's nothing embarrassing about loving somebody and hoping and supporting somebody. I know a lot of people, especially, a lot of people don't understand it. Oh, you're such a smart, intelligent girl. What are you doing with such a loser? I can just imagine what they're saying. But you know what? In the end, that's not what life's about. It's not about marrying the richest guy or the most together guy. It's about love and caring and helping somebody. And I just saw something the other day. It said, character is how you treat somebody that has nothing to offer you. And I'm happy to say that, through the grace of God and Jesus, I feel that they help me to hang in there and not give up and, to ultimately love more. Which is, I think we all need that. But I feel like I'm a little lost now, so I'm going to go. But I will be back, and thanks for listening.